I wanted to create this quick video to show you how you can actually run CLI commands from a command line. CLI commands for the Pure Storage Array. So I've got a Linux system here. I've logged into it, and the first thing you'd want to do is run the SSH keygen to generate a public key that can be used on the Pure Array. So most folks that have been doing Unix and Linux for a while are quite familiar with this. I've got an account called Progress that I've already set this up. But basically you'd run SSH-keygen. It's going to ask you, where you'd like to save it. You can just hit enter so it just saves it. I can overwrite it right now. And I'm just going to go ahead and enter in an empty passphrase. And then if I cat that file, pub file, I can see this key. And again, if you've been doing this for a while, you already know this, but you can copy this pub key right here, this public key right here, and you could provide it to Adrian as an example. And over here on the UI for the flash array, under settings, you go to users, and you would create a new account. Make it a storage admin, give it a password, and then click create. And then once it's created, you'll notice I've got the option to edit it. And if I go edit it, down here I can insert the public key. And I can just paste that public key in there and then save it. Okay? So I've already got one in here that I just did that to called Progress, and I copied the public key there. So if I go into the Progress account, so I'm in this system as Progress, and if I go to the SSH folder and I look at the public key, I've already copied this public key into this account called Progress here, or Progress. And in this array, I've already got a set of volumes here. I've got ProgDB prod, ProgDB test. These are a couple volumes that I've created. And I created a protection group called ProgressDB prod, ProgressDB test. And of course, if you click on this protection group, you can see that I've got that ProgDB prod volume as part of this. Now I don't have the snapshot schedule enabled, meaning I don't have it set up to run automatically, because I'm going to trigger it manually from a script. So I've got it built in here. I've got it called ProgressDB with the ProgDB prod volume. I've got one called ProgDB test with the volume for the test database, and it has the retention in here. Basically, I can modify this and say, you know what, I want to keep it, every snapshot for, maybe I want to do 2 days. I can do that, and I can tell it how many to retain, 8 snapshots a day for 5 days. Whatever the case may be, I can set that. And that'll set the retention, but I don't have this schedule enabled so that it creates these automatically. So I've got the volumes created, they're provisioned to the host. I've got the protection group with those volumes in there. And then if I go over here, I've got 2 scripts. One's called test.sh. And all it does is echo out that I'm quiescing the test database, and then it echoes out that I'm going to create an array-based snapshot, and then it's going to make the call to that protection group called ProgressDB test, and it'll spit out if it's successful or if there was an error, what that error was. And then it's just going to echo that it's unquiescing the test database. Basically, this is all your code beforehand, all your code afterwards, and this is what you would need to call in order to create the snapshot on the array. I've also got the the prod one as well. Of course, basically the same thing, except I'm calling that. So if I were to run one of these, run the prod, I can see that it's creating the array-based snapshot and it was successful. I'm echoing that out. Of course, you don't have to. You could have it just write to a log, you know, if you wanted. Test.sh, that's going to create one for the test database. And then if I come over here, I've already got a couple of them because I ran this before, but I know that I ran this on this West Coast time of 11:41. So if I click on prod DB, I'll see there's the latest one, prod 12 at 11:41. And if I go look here, it's 11:41. So these are snapshots on the array of those database volumes. Of course, I can have multiple volumes associated with the database if needed for whatever reason. You know, they're application consistent. Basically, we know that you can use those to recover that database. Anyway, to that particular point in time. Anyway, that's it. Thought I'd do that. Maybe it'd be helpful